Boy, this is like playing the London Palladium, huge crowd. Sigmund Freud, the iconic Viennese psychiatrist who developed the theory of psychoanalysis, whereby you show up at the shrink's office, you lie down on a sofa, semi-dark, and you start free associating, attempting to figure out why your life got so screwed up. He once said to a patient, "The best I can do is change serious psychosis into ordinary human misery." Now, to counter that cynical view, incidentally, Woody Allen spent 15 years, 5 days a week, on a shrink's couch. And during my New York days, all the psychiatrists used to take their vacations in August, and you literally took your life in your hands walking in the streets because people were walking around without their doctors. At any rate, to counter that cynical view about life being miserable, occasionally in our own lives, we have a glorious day. When we look at the script of our own lives, the glorious days are usually graduation, getting a raise, getting married. For some, a glorious day could be your divorce papers coming through. And I look back when Jim asked me to come here and start this thing off, what glorious day we might talk about. And I'm going to talk about the birth of our son. Now, I was raised in New York City. My wife was raised on a very large farm in Iowa. My parents were very concerned with the arts and culture. I squirmed through more plays by Ibsen as a 9-year-old to the point where it was child abuse. And my wife, although their farm was outside of Iowa City, close to where the University of Iowa was, and they did have culture, our lives were very, very different. At any point, shortly after we were married, incidentally, Janice came to New York the day after she graduated from the University of Iowa and had a very successful career as a magazine editor. So we were out at the farm in Iowa, standing in the kitchen, and this pickup truck drives up the driveway. And Janice's father said, "Oh, that's the vet." And he looked at me and he said, "Eli, you ever witness a cesarean section on a sow?" Well, living in Greenwich Village, I said to him, "There aren't too many sows in Greenwich Village of the hog variety at any rate." And he said, "Well, come on." So we go out to the farrowing house, and I saw my first cesarean section on a sow. I must say it was very entertaining. It's nothing I'd spend my life doing, but it was very interesting. Now, we fast forward 4 years. Janice is pregnant with our first child, and 9 months later, she says, "I'm getting these pains, maybe we better go to the hospital." So we go to Wilmington Hospital, and before that, I had to take these Lamaze classes so that I could be in the room. And I must say, it was very embarrassing for me walking from the car to the hospital carrying a pillow where you have to lie down and push and do whatever we did. Anyway, so we show up with Janice's labor pains, and the doctor says, "Come on in." And 19 hours later, still going through labor. And the doctor comes out and he says, "Mr. Silberman, we're going to have to do a cesarean section, and even though you took the Lamaze classes, you're not allowed to come in because you've never witnessed the cesarean section." So I said, "But I have." And he looked at me somewhat skeptically, but for some reason believed me, and in we went. And I saw this cesarean section on my wife, and out pops my son. And it was, I must say, a lot more pleasant than watching the thing with the pig. But Anyway, 2 years later, Janice is pregnant with our daughter, and we just made an appointment to come have another C-section. We walk in, and the doctor comes out, and he says, "You've never seen a cesarean section, so you're not going to be able to come in." And I looked at him, and I said, "This is my third." And he looked at me somewhat skeptically, but three, well, I was, all right, come on in. And we did that. Now, my point is, when we think about glorious days, we do think about major events in our lives. But there are also glorious days that have very little to do with graduation or marriage or getting promotions. There are little glorious moments in life that we can treasure every single day, like watching the sun set on a gorgeous fall day and think, wow, that's really glorious. Or picking up, now I can share with you, I used to have a glorious evening every single night. We've always had 3 dogs in the house. We've had 2 corgis and a yellow lab. And every night before going up, the 4 of us would go out back on the lawn together and have a very spiritual pee in unison. It was glorious. So I'd like to leave you with the thought that the major glorious things are easy, but enrich your lives by enjoying the teeny little glorious moments every single day.